And there we go. All right, guys. Clara, if you want to tell a little bit about how you got started in the business, a little background stories, and then we can get started. I'm gonna mute myself too.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so I started Beachbody in October of 2016. It was after 3 months after I had Quincy. I but I actually started and signed up as a coach to coach. I I was a teacher for 3 years, and I was planning to go back, but Bo and I had discussed that I would take a year off so I could spend time with the baby, and we had kind of budgeted for that. Then after I had her, I was like, okay, I'm not going back to school. No, not happening. So I was trying to figure out, I'm really racking my brain, how could I possibly stay home with her? And I'd watched Kate for a long time. We weren't friends, but I'd go to her page, and stalk her. It was that bad. And I finally messaged her one day, and I told her, I said, this is, what I want to do. I want to stay home with her. I've seen that you do this. Can you show me how to do this? And she was just so nice. She sent me back a ton of voice messages, which is why I've always sent voice messages, because it's so powerful for someone to hear your voice. And I signed up 2 days later, just getting all the, sign up process. I was sold the second she messaged me. And from the start, I just started doing the things. Carly, I know you've kind of already heard about they're coming out with the new coach training. We just found out in the roundtable today, but they talked a lot about how in the beginning, sometimes you can overtrain. And Kate from the beginning really instilled in me, you just need to hit the ground running, start your messaging, get a post out there, just start doing the things. And I didn't do a lot of overtraining. And I think that that's what helped me. And I had a mission, was to replace my teaching salary and to stay at home with my children. And so I just, have always I've always treated this like a job. I think it's very easy to get in that mindset of where people kind of belittle it. When you get out of this circle and you get out of all the positive that's around Beachbody and all the positive things, and you start talking to other people, sometimes they belittle it, and it kind of makes you think, well, it is just another MLM, but if you keep your mindset focused on the fact that this could be your full-time, this could be a booming business if you treat it that way, you can make that out of this, but you have to treat it that way. And that is and that's what Kate taught me from the beginning, because that's what I told her I wanted from the beginning. And I think a lot of girls would love that, but it's scary in the beginning because you don't want to come out and say that. For me, it was this is what I need. I have to have this. This is my, or I have to go back to teaching, and that's not what I want to do. So that's how I've always treated it. And I've been doing it. It'll be 3 years, October 14th. I bought my first challenge pack on my birthday. And it's grown ever since. Every year is better than the last. And I think that always scared me. I was oh my God, I had such a great year last year. Is it gonna keep getting better? It's this fear of, oh my gosh, I'm kind of scared. I could stop now and be really proud of what I've done. But that's a limiting belief. If I keep going, it's just going to get better. You just have to believe that and push past those fears. And every year it has. So, Carla, so I know you told us stuff to talk about, but is there anything from that specific that you want me to say, or am I on the right track?
When you got started, your main focus was on your challenge group. And how did you, I know a lot of us have so many fears about being turned down or even getting started out of the get-go of messaging those people. How did you consistently get turned down and keep coming back for more? Because your Success Club numbers from the get-go were 20 and above. I mean, you constantly are consistent in that area. So what kind of things, when you get in a mind funk, what do you tell yourself? How do you get past that to keep going?
I think from the beginning, like I said, Kate, told me the things to do, so I did them. And I got so many no's in the beginning. I remember that first month feeling so discouraged. I remember my cousin telling me she was going to order, we were close. I see her often still. And I was I can't wait for Christmas because I'm going to lay into her. It's, and I got so many no's from people that you thought would say yes. And it was discouraging. But I kept telling myself, remember why you wanted this. And I also kept looking at leaders like Kate and saying, look, she did it. Like, why can't you? Like, why can't you? How are you any different from her? You're not. Like, and that's, I don't know. Whenever I would get those no's, I would constantly have to keep pepping myself up. I'd have to, like, diving into personal development. I know in the beginning, I remember thinking, oh, this is kind of cheesy. But when you get those no's and you really are diving into personal development, it does help, because you're going to get those no's. And it does get discouraging. I remember telling Bo a lot, and he remembers too, like me being discouraged. And I still get no's and I still get discouraged, but it's just part of it. I think now, like, my skin has gotten a lot thicker. Like I almost expect it, but I still kept on and kept on. And I think that Kate telling me, you are going to get no's, like, expect that. Like that, expect that to come in, was like, okay, she's getting them too. And she's a rock star. She's got this huge business. So if she's getting them and still rocking this, then me getting them is okay too. I can still rock this too. Do you recommend? I liked, or the one that she recommended to me was the compound effect. And that helped me a lot too. I remember messaging her, voice messaging her and telling her, look, I'm doing all this stuff. I'm doing all these things that I was probably like her most annoying coach in the beginning. I'm doing all of these things that you're telling me to do. And I don't feel like anybody's like grasping yet. Like, what am I doing wrong? And I remember pulling in our cattle guard and listening to her voice message, and Bo sitting beside me. And I said, you heard this. Make sure you remember this, because if this isn't true, I'm going to go back and tell her this isn't true. She said, wait 6 months. She said, be consistent. Don't stop doing the things you're doing because you're discouraged. You have to keep doing these little things. You can't get all pissy and stop. You have to keep doing these things. And in 6 months, watch what happens. But you have to stay consistent. And I said, okay, I'll keep doing them for 6 months. But after 6 months, if it's not, and I did. But you have to, like, I think a lot of times new coaches get discouraged and pissed off. So they're like, well, what's the point? I'm doing all these things. It's not happening. So they stop. And then they pick back up. And then they start. And it's so inconsistent that your following doesn't believe you. They've lost some of that trust in you. So I stayed consistent. And after that 6 months, she was exactly right. All of those little things do add up. It just takes time. And that's what the compound effect taught me. It taught me about, like, all these little things you're doing. A post I made today about Quincy, I don't know, doing something with Quincy. In my mind, it's not a post about Quincy, me playing with Quincy. It's a post where a mom's going to see it. She's going to say, damn, she gets to be home with her daughter doing that. Wish I could do that. How does she do that? I wonder what is she doing? She's doing, maybe I should ask her about it. And she won't right away, but she's going to follow me. And she's going to keep looking into it. And then maybe one day. So that's, I don't know, all the little behaviors adding up. That's what the compound effect taught me. So I've kept doing that consistently, even when I don't want to. Even when I'm like, oh, like, I would rather do everything else than make a post right now. Like, just putting things out there and staying consistent has always, I feel like, been effective. Does that help?
Yeah, that's good. Does anybody have any specific questions about challenge groups? This is the queen of them. You are. Do you have any tips on how you keep your customers around? Like, how do they keep coming back? Because that consistent of staying on Shakeology or staying on something, that's also how you grow in income, and you have that volume and your cycle bonuses. So do you have any tips on how you keep them around? What do you do in your challenge groups to keep that consistent too?
In our challenge groups, I do say, like, if you want to continue from one group to the next, you do need to have some sort of order coming through, which I know that kind of sounds kind of but damn, I'm working my ass off over here. I'm posting every day. I'm checking in. And that's why I've always felt it necessary for me to give 1,000% of my heart to my challenge groups, because I'm requiring that from them. So, like, and I know that some coaches may disagree with this, but, like, when they're posting, I try and love and comment on all of their posts, because they need to know that I'm there and that they're being seen and they're being heard. Even if it's like a picture of them drinking their shake, I'm like, damn girl, good for you. Like, way to go. Or, something so that they feel heard. They feel, see, that's what that's all about. Those challenge groups, it's the accountability, but they want someone to hear them. They want someone to see them. They're posting every day and no one's noticing. And I almost feel like now with the way social media is like, you can love on anything. You can click and like and love on anything. You got to let them know that you see them and that you're loving on it. And you're saying like, hey girl, yes, I had that same shake today. Or, oh my gosh, add spinach to it. It's an easy way to get a veggie in, or try this, or I don't know. I've always tried to make that a priority. And I feel like that has helped my challenge group so much, because so many people say like, oh my gosh, like I love our groups. I want to keep ordering just to be in the group. So like just making it a place where someone feels loved on and feels heard, and know that when they show up, you're going to love all over them and they're going to feel that in the group. I feel like that's helped a lot with my challenge groups. And I think that in the beginning, I had no coaches. It was a free group. I had no people. I had nobody ordering shit from me, but I was like loving all over everything because that's all I had. That was my baby. That's what I started with. So I'm like, what else am I going to do? Like Kate said, I was supposed to do this. So I just kept pouring my heart into that, and it absolutely paid off.
Free groups are a great place to start. And you can do any kind of free group, a recipe free group. You can do a workout move of the day free group, and keep that free group open. And those people, if you host it for a week, at the end of that week, you can start talking about the challenge group you're starting. And even if they don't join that, you have another free group, and maybe eventually those people will become challengers because you're earning their trust within that group. So that's where I started too. I think my mom was my first person in my group, and I ran a whole month group with my mom. And Darla, she showed up. That woman, she did. But
Of course she did.
I was with some more folks, but I did. That was also my first group. I wanted to ask you, when your group gets like, I know we all experience this, like ghost, where nobody is posting, nobody is, you share a post in the morning, or you're checking for the day, and just it's crickets. Is there something you do to spice it up before you get to the next month's group? Like I feel like around like that 3-week mark, people start dying off, especially the weekends. The weekends are rough too, but do you have any tips for when it gets to ghost?
No, I guess first of all, know that if that's happening to you, that's normal. I think that is like, it happens to a lot of us, but I have noticed that like, if I make myself continue to show up, like even I know weekends are ours and we like to like go do our thing, but if I can manage to keep myself showing up and they see that, it's very inspiring. You're leading this pace of this group. You're the leader. They see you doing it, they're gonna do it. They see you buy pumpkin spice Shakeology, they're gonna buy pumpkin spice Shakeology. They see you, but like that, and it's the same way, same thing for the group. So if you kind of lose that momentum, they do too. And that's not just the only thing that slows it down. Like sometimes it's just like, it slows down. So like I do a live video every night in my group, which I didn't do tonight. Forgot about that. I don't do it every single night, but I try to do it at 8:00 every night. And they know that. Like they usually are waiting for that. So that's some consistency there. You don't have to do that, but that helps. But also fun little challenges and like spicing it up and doing fun little prizes, letting them know, like even changing things up. Like we started doing just Monday, a daily Zoom. We haven't done that ever, like a 5 a.m. workout daily Zoom. So like making it new and fresh, and that's kind of fun because you get to be creative. You get to come up with new ideas to make it fun and to keep it fresh. And when you see it start to slow, use that as like a challenge. Say, okay, how can I make this? How can I bring some life back to this? I don't know, like that's kind of where we're at right now. We were at, what was like 80 people, 100% club, and now it's like 47. I'm like, oh God. But that's, I think,
and 100 days is a long time. That I know.
100 days is a long time. Yes, I'm almost ready to like start a new group, but usually I do a new one every month. But with Morning Meltdown, it was like, you kind of want to do the whole day, 100 days. But after Morning Meltdown, it's back to the monthly groups. Get your Shaco order in.
Does anybody else have a specific question? It doesn't have to be challenge group related, just anything. You said something earlier and I thought of a question and it lost me. It'll come
I wrote
back.
it down too.
Okay.
Because my girls at Summit, this is related to Success Club, because I feel like that was another thing Kate ingrained in me from the beginning was you need to hit Success Club every month. And I was like, well, what is it? I actually started in the middle of October. So then whenever I didn't quite understand it. So I remember I sold a challenge pack the very end of October. And then I logged in November and I was like, Kate, something's wrong. My points are gone. And she's like, no, it's a new month. Like, you don't get to. I was like, well, I started in the middle of the month. Like, don't those? She's like, no. So, but she ingrained in me, you need to lock in Success Club every month. And so that for me, that first, even though I started in the middle of the month, I was like, well, I didn't hit it. Oh my gosh. But I was like, okay, no, that's never happening again. And I've never not hit Success Club. And one of the big things that she told me in the beginning was, okay, Clara, because she knew that I was very income driven. Like that was my mission, was to stay home with Quincy. So she said, if you're hitting Success Club 6 every month for 3 to 5 years, it just kind of depends on, people who, if they stick with their Shakeology or whatever, then you are on track to build your business to a 6-figure income business in 3 to 5 years. And I was like, okay. And then she said, if you're hitting Success Club 10 every month for 2 to 3 years, then you're, in 2 to 3 years, you're on track to build a 6-figure income. And I thought, well, dang, okay. Well, of course I want to fast track this. So I've always made it my mission to hit Success Club 10. And I see why, because that's how you create people consistently staying with it. That's the best deal for people to get started. Those challenge packs, that's Success Club. And that's a great way for you to continue to build your business. So when my girls went to Summit in our training, we didn't see this, but some of my girls were in a different training and they saw these great slides. And, I wrote down what the slides said because they sent them to me and I thought they were so good. Because it breaks it down for you. Like, let's say that you're just doing this as a side hustle. Okay. Maybe you just want to make $150 extra a week, which is about $7,200 a year. Okay. Then you're hitting Success Club 6 every month. So it's 1 new coach, 2 new challengers every month for a year. And that's how much money you're going to make at the end of the year. Like that's, to me, when you break it down like that, it's like, okay, that's doable. Hell yeah. I'd like an extra $7,200 at the end of the year. Like one new coach and 2 new challengers. Like I can do that. I could do that. But let's say like, this is kind of the bigger scale. And this is what my girls were really like, okay, because they're thinking bigger picture. Let's say that you want to make $2,000 a week, okay, $8,000 a month. So that's $96,000 for a year, okay? That's 5 new coaches, 5 new challengers, and 5 personally sponsored coaches hitting Success Club every month for 12 months. And I know that sounds scary. Some of you are probably very new and you're like, I don't even have personally sponsored coaches yet. And that's okay. But that, like kind of where we're at now, like Carly, like we've built our businesses, that's something that's doable too. We can do that. Like that's something that when you break it down and you just take the focus off of, oh my God, I have to please everybody and I have to hit these huge Success Club numbers. No, like what if we just focus on okay, this is what we want to hit. Like figure out what your number is. Maybe it's not $2,000 a week. That's a big number. Figure out what your number is and break it down, work it backwards and say, okay, what do I need to do to get there? And remember that income that you're focused on. Like remember, okay, that's what I'm focusing on. I can do this. What's 3 people? Well, you can easily find 3 people that want to do this. It's going to take some hustle. It's going to take some work. But think about at the end of the year, if you do that, what that could mean for your family. Like what could that like think of all the things that, I don't know, I was thinking $150 a week. Like I could easily have people coming to clean my house. I could buy a few extra outfits. Like when you break it down, it really does. I don't know. That really stood out to me. It stood out a lot to my girls. I can send you those slides too, Carly, if you want, because they were like, they thought it was really powerful when you break it down.
Please do. Please do. That 6-month thing you said earlier too relates so much as well, because what you're doing in those first 2 months, you may not see the results of it until month 6, but that goes for your income too. And that's why, like, I used to not push for Success Club like at the beginning of my business until like the end of the month, and I was just like casually having conversations, but not on any kind of, I guess, system, like where I'm inviting 5 invites a day or whatever your goal is, and then at the end of the month I'm freaking out because I haven't hit. Well, I haven't had enough conversations, so I started making myself a goal where I wanted to hit Success Club by the middle of the month, the 15th of the month. That way, if for some reason I haven't, I still have all these conversations that I've had that possibly either something could turn out at the end of the month, or I wasn't scrambling to find people and it was almost like desperation. And you definitely see the results of the conversations you've had months prior. Like they come out of nowhere and you're like, hadn't talked to that girl in 4 months, but here she is, you know.
Because she's stayed watching you. And that's not because it's not like you stopped talking to her and that was it. No, she continued to watch you. So that's why it's so important to continue to show up in your social media, because those no's that you're getting, I have learned those no's do not mean no. Like if somebody tells me no, I'm like, okay, that means not yet. Like, wait, girl, wait. No, you're back. It's happened. I've like 3 years into this, I've had girls that I talked to that first month I signed up, and now they order their challenge back. Like, of course, if I wasn't around, I never would have seen the benefits of that. That's why you have to stay around and stay consistent. But they've spent the past 3 years watching me, and it took them 3 years to be sold. You know,
and
so
think about your own journey. Like I know Clara stopped Kate for how long? You know, think about yourself. How long did you watch your coach before you said, okay, maybe I'll try this? Or maybe you were a person who you were like, they talked to 14 times, and then finally on the 15th time you signed up. Who knows what it was? You were just ready at that time. But same goes for when you're talking to other people. You have to remember that. And it takes, what is that statistic? It takes someone like 7 to 10 times of seeing it to be consistent. And there's so many Beachbody coaches out there. And if you follow 1 or 2, more than likely, there's so many that are going to show up in your feed just because you have things in common on social media that they're like putting it in your feed. So you want people, same thing's happening to them. They're following all these Beachbody coaches. What's going to make you different? They want to sign up with someone who's showing up every day, who's consistent, so that they know, hey, you're going to hold me accountable. You know, sometimes I feel like my stories or whatever are crap and I'm just throwing them up there, but I just want to show consistency. And I had a girl that said, oh my God, your accountability is solid. And I'm like, glad you think so, because, you know, some days you don't feel like it, but if you're just done is better than perfect. If you're putting it up there, they're seeing you. So,
and that's the thing too. Like one of the things Kate told me in the beginning was, don't worry about, like, because I remember I was like, I posted, I didn't get a lot of feedback, and she's like, you think everybody saw that post? Like, no, that's not how it works. You don't put up a post and all of your Facebook sees it. You know, some see it. You have to consistently do it. And the ones that do consistently see it, it's because they're consistently watching you and following you. So take that as a compliment. Like they're watching you for a reason. Even if they're not signing up, they're intrigued by something, and they are waiting for the thing that you're going to say that's going to tip them to actually ask you and actually reach out, or it might, you know, you have to reach out sometimes too, because they're waiting for something. They would stop following if they were done. They'd stop watching you if they didn't care. But if they're still watching you, there's a reason for that. Like, I always take that as like she keeps telling me no, but she keeps watching my stuff. She's waiting for me to say the thing that she wants to hear, and I just haven't said it yet. Like the thing that's gonna, I don't know. Everybody has a reason for starting, and I just haven't said the thing that makes one start. But I will. This is no one in particular, but
anybody else? Use that chat box if you have a question, or I think we have just a few minutes left before it kicks us out.
Let me see. I wrote something else. Oh, I guess like the one. I guess the last little thing, because I know limiting beliefs and getting over your fears. Like that's truly, I think, the thing that stops most of us. Is that we're worried what people are going to think when they see our post. We're worried that we're over posting. We're worried that no one's going to like it. We're worried that we're going to be rejected. That's really what it is. No one wants to feel rejection. And in this business, you feel it constantly. And as long as I feel like you get past that fear and realize that it's just part of it. I don't know. And there's so much good that can come of this if you accept that there is going to be some rejection involved, that we're all feeling that. Like, I promise you, Ashley Molstad, Melanie Mitra, they're all feeling that rejection at some point. Get past those fears and just realize this is just part of it. It's part of the job. Kind of like grading papers as a teacher. Like, that's just part of it. You just got to do that. You just got to get past those fears and reach out.
If you haven't done that 100 no challenge where you're just going for no's, you're not going for yeses, you're seeing if you can get 100 no's, that is something, I swear to you, no's will become like, okay, no big deal. The more invites you send. It takes like, in the beginning of your business, it's like, oh my God, I have to send these and I'm walk away from my phone. I'm not going to look at it for 24 hours because I'm scared to death what these people are going to tell me. But once you get enough no's, I feel like that 100 no challenge is so like crucial in the beginning of your business, just so you can get used to no's. Really, like it's almost like, okay, let's create that tough skin, so you know that 9 times out of 10 you're probably going to get a no with a little yes in there. Maybe not that often, but you know what I mean. Like, so if you haven't done that,
a lot of my girls talked about how they were so frustrated. I remember we had this long chat going one day. They were talking about how frustrated they were when they get ghosted and no one says anything. And like, yeah, girl, I hate that too. When I finally got to open my phone and see what they were saying, I was like, what? Like when someone doesn't respond and I see that they've read it, I'm like, okay, they're not responding. They're not telling me no because they're not ready. Like they still are not sure. Like that to me is like, if they gave me a solid no, I'd be like, okay, like that's fine. Like, no, girl, leave me alone. Okay, I get it. But which I haven't ever gotten that, I promise. But if I see somebody that's read the message and just hasn't said anything, I'm like, okay, like there's hope. Like they're not saying no for a reason because they're still watching me. They're not sure they want to say no yet. They don't want to tell me no yet because they're not sure. So if you're getting that, if you're getting ghosted a lot, so am I. I mean, I think the last 25 messages I sent were, I don't think I got any response, but that's good because they're still watching me and they're going to come around and I still see them watching my stories. So they're still seeing that I'm up to it, like still doing my thing and just waiting for the right time. But you got to stay with it. If you leave, guess who they're going to go to? They're going to go to your upline or they're going to go to somebody else. Like you have to be around when they're ready. So you just got to stick with it.
right. Thank you so much. Anybody have last minute anything else? Thank you so much, Clara.
Welcome. I hope that was helpful.
Yes. Did y'all enjoy that? Thanks. Yes, everybody. Can we take a picture though real fast before everybody hops off? Flip your hair, get it ready.
My best life.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. All right, guys. Y'all have a good night, and thank you again, Clara.
Yes,
bye,
anytime.
y'all. Yeah.
Thanks, Clara.
No